Good morning everyone. Today we will start chapter 11 solids, liquids and gases. In previous classes also you have studied about the solids, liquids and gases. In this chapter we will study about what is matter and what is matter made up of. Then we will see heating and cooling of solids, liquids and gases. That means what happens when the solids, liquids and gases they are heated and cooled down. Lastly, we will study about the changes, physical and chemical changes. So, let's start the chapter. First of all, we will see what is matter. Everything in the universe is made up of matter. Matter is anything that has mass and occupies space. So any substance that has mass and occupies space is called matter. And matter, it can exist in the three states: solid, liquid and gas. Let's revise matter. Matter is anything that has mass and occupies space. So matter has mass and it occupies space. And matter, it can exist in the three states: solid, liquid and gases. Now we will see what is matter made up of. Matter is made up of the small particles called atoms. Atoms are the building blocks of all matter. Building blocks means the smallest unit from which something is made up. For example, to make house, we need bricks. Bricks are layered one above another to make house. So bricks are the building blocks of house. In the same manner, atoms are building blocks of all matter. That means matter is made up of the small particles called atoms. Atoms are very small in size. They are extremely small in size. That means they are very small in size. And they can be seen only with the help of very powerful microscopes. Though you cannot see them with the naked eyes, everything around you is made up of atoms. Atoms are very small in size. We cannot see them with naked eyes, means we cannot see them directly with the eyes. We can see them with the help of the very powerful microscopes. And the matter is made up of the very small particles called atoms and molecules. Now we will see what are the molecules. See some examples: the water you drink, the air you breathe, and the earth and everything on the earth is made up of the atoms. Now we will see the molecules. When two or more atoms they combine together, they form a particle called a molecule. That means a group of two or more atoms joined together is known as molecule. Let us see with the help of the examples. A molecule can be made up of the same or different kinds of atoms. Let us see. For example, an oxygen molecule is made up of the two oxygen atoms and it is written as O2. But if we talk about water molecule, it is made up of the two hydrogen atoms and one oxygen atom. And the water molecule is written as H2O. Let us understand with the help of the diagram. We can see here oxygen molecule. Oxygen molecule is made up of two oxygen atoms. We can see here this is one oxygen atom and this is the second one oxygen atom. So the oxygen molecule is made up of the two oxygen atoms. Oxygen molecule is made up of two oxygen atoms. This is one oxygen atom and this is the another one. So the oxygen molecule, we can see it is made up of two oxygen atoms. If we talk about the water molecule, it is written as H2O. H2O is made up of two hydrogen atoms and one oxygen atom. So it is clear the water molecule, which is H2O, it is made up of two hydrogen atoms and one oxygen atom. So now it is clear that a molecule, it can be made up of the same kind of atoms or it can be made up of the different kinds of atom. Now we will see the arrangement of the molecules in the solids, liquids and gases. Atoms and molecules, they are in the constant motion. That means atoms and molecules, they are always moving. In the solids, this is the arrangement of the particles, or we can say the arrangement of the molecules in the solids. This one, this first figure. Here in the solids, the atoms or the molecules, they move, but they remain in the same position. That means they only vibrate without changing their position. We can very clearly see in case of the solid, the particles, they are very closely packed. That means they are very close to each other. The particles are very close to each other, because of which the molecules in the solids, they only vibrate without changing their position. We have studied that atoms and molecules, they are always moving, but in the solids, the particles, they are very closely packed. That means they are very close to each other. So because of which the particles in the solids, they only vibrate without changing their position. That's why the solids have a fixed shape. If we talk about the liquids, in liquids you can clearly see atoms or the molecules, they are loosely packed. That means the molecules, they are not very close to each other. If we compare it with the solid, the particles here, they are not very close to each other. So because of which the particles, they move around and they glide over each other. And this is the reason that liquids, they flow easily. And when they are poured in the containers, they take the shape of the container. Now we will study about the arrangement of particles in the gases. This diagram. In the gases, the atoms or the molecules, they are very far from each other, or we can say the distance between the particles, you can see here, it is large as compared to solids and liquid. The molecules, they move freely in the gases and they are not in contact in each other. So that is the why the gases, they move to take up the entire space available to them. So that's why the gases, they occupy the available space. So this was all about the arrangement of the particles in the solids, liquids and gases. And there is one important term, intermolecular space. The space between the two molecules is called the intermolecular space. If we talk about the solids, we can see here very clearly the intermolecular space between the particles, it is very, very less. That means the space between the two molecules. But if we talk about the liquids, here the space is more. The intermolecular space in the liquids is more as compared to the solid. But in the gases, the intermolecular space is very large as compared to solids and liquids. So, now we will talk about the force of attraction. Because in the solids, the intermolecular space is very less. So because of which here the force of attraction between the particles, or we can say between the molecules, it is very strong. But in the liquids, the force of attraction is weaker. And in the gases, the force of attraction is very weak because the particles, they are very far from each other. If we mix 1 spoon of sugar into water, we will see that a spoon of sugar, it gets dissolved in water. when it is added to water, the spoon of sugar, it will dissolve in water, because the sugar molecules, they will occupy the intermolecular space that is available in the water. And the some liquids such as alcohol, they also dissolve in the water, and some gases also such as oxygen and carbon dioxide, they also dissolve in the water. Fish breathe in the oxygen that is dissolved in the water. Let us see some extra knowledge here. The lightness and heaviness of a substance for a given volume is called density. Density means the lightness or the heaviness of a substance for a given volume. The density depends on how closely the molecules are packed in a given substance. That means the density depends on how closely the molecules are packed. That means how close the particles are in a given substance. Because of which a stone is denser than a block of wood. Because if we talk about the particles in a stone, the particles in a stone are very closely packed as compared to the particles in a block of wood. Science in context. If I ask one question, which is heavier, 1 kg of iron or 1 kg of cotton? You may say that iron is heavier, but it's not true, because the weight of both here is same. Then what is the difference? The difference is in the molecular space between the two. If we talk about the particles of iron, they are very closely packed. That means the particles of iron, they are very close to each other, because of which the iron ball is heavier. But the particles of cotton, they are loosely packed, because of which the cotton is less dense as compared to iron, and cotton occupies more space. So this was all about the density. Now we will see what happens when the liquids, they are heated and cooled down. When a liquid is heated, the molecules acquire energy and move faster. That means when a liquid is heated, the molecules, they gain energy and they starts moving fast. And when the liquids, they are heated continuously, so the molecules, they ultimately move so fast that they are no longer in contact with each other. So what happens when the liquid is continuously heated? So the molecules, they ultimately move so fast that they break free from their existing arrangement and they escape into the air as gases. Hence, the liquid changes into the gases. And the process in which a liquid changes into gas, it is called evaporation. So what is evaporation? Evaporation is the process in which a liquid changes into gas. You might have seen when the wet clothes, they are spread on a wire in the sunlight, the wet clothes, they become dry. It happens because of the evaporation, because the water in them disappears. The water in the clothes, it changes from the liquid state to the gaseous state. So the wet clothes, they become dry because of the evaporation. What happens when we cool a liquid? Let us see. When a liquid is cooled, the molecules slow down. That means the movement of the molecule, it slows down, and when the cooling is continued, the molecules, they come close together and they rearrange themselves to become a solid. And this process in which a liquid changes into solid, it is called freezing. And the rate of the freezing, it will be different for the different liquids. Let us see here. When the liquids, they are cooled down, as I told, the molecules, they slow down, and the molecules, as you can see here clearly, the molecules, they come closer and they rearrange themselves to become a solid. So the process in which a liquid changes into solid, it is known as freezing. This was all about the heating and cooling of the liquids. Now we will see what happens when the solids are heated and cooled down. When the solids are heated, so the molecules, they gain energy and they starts vibrating faster. When they are heated further, the particles, they move around and gradually they turn into a liquid. And the process in which a solid changes into liquid is called melting. So what happened when the solids are heated? So because of gaining energy, the molecules, they starts vibrating faster, and because of which they gradually turn into liquid. And this process into which solids changes into liquid is called melting. But the most important point here is that not all substances undergo melting at normal conditions. That means all the substances, when they are heated, they do not undergo melting. Some solid substances, they may undergo other changes on heating. That means there are some solid substances, when they are heated, in them some other changes takes place. Let us see some examples. For example, paper burns when it is heated. When we heat the paper burns and it gets converted into ash. But some solids, they expand on heating. Let us understand this concept from the example. Safina has a metal ball and a ring. This is a metal ball and it is a ring. Before hitting the metal ball, the ball could pass through the ring. But then Safina heated the metal ball over a flame, as we can see here. Safina heated the metal ball over a flame until it got very hot. And after that, she tried to pass this heated metal ball through the same ring. But she found that the ball could not pass through the ring. Here you can see this is the case. It is the case before the heating. Here the size of the metal ball is smaller than the ring and it could pass through the ring. But after heating, you can see the metal ball, it has got expanded. That means the size of the metal ball has got increased, because of which now the metal ball could not pass through this metal ring. In the above example, we saw that when the ball is heated, the molecules, they move further apart, because when the ball was heated, the molecules, they gained energy, and because of which they started vibrating rapidly, and because of their increased movement, they take up more space. So the size of the ball got increased, and this is called expansion. Expansion means increase in the size of matter on heating. Let us see what happened when the ball is cooled down. So now when the ball is cooled down, the movement of the molecules slow down and then they come closer to each other, and this is called contraction. Contraction means decrease in the size of matter on cooling. So this was all about the heating and cooling of the solids. Now we will see what happens when we heat the gases and when the gases are cooled down. When a gas is heated, so the molecules, they gain energy, because of which they starts moving away very fast. And when the molecules, they start moving fast, so they will take up more space due to their increased movement, so the gases will expand. But the other case, when the gas is cooled for a long time, the molecules, they slow down and they come closer. The molecules, they come closer and gradually means slowly, they will turn into a liquid. That means the gas will turn into a liquid. So the process in which a gas changes into liquid is called condensation. The formation of the water droplets on the outer surface of a cold glass is an example of condensation. You can see here the tiny droplets, tiny water droplets on the outer surface of this glass. Let us see how the water droplets appeared on this surface. when the water vapor present in the air, when they come in contact with the cold surface of the glass, the movement of the molecules in the water vapor it slows down, and because of which the water vapors turns into water. The formation of the dewdrops on the leaves and the mist, these are the examples of the condensation. The most important thing is a gas expands faster than a solid or liquid because there is more space between the particles of gas. There is one activity which shows that the air expands on heating and it contracts on cooling. So the material required for this activity are a balloon, a 2-liter water bottle, a bowl of hot water and a bowl of cold water. Let us see the procedure. Fix a slightly inflated balloon to the mouth of 2-liter bottle as we can see here. Then place the bottle with the balloon into the bowl of hot water and place the bottle with the balloon in the bowl of cold water and observe the change in both the cases. You will see that the balloon will get inflated when the bottle is kept in hot water, and when the bottle is kept in cold water, the balloon will get deflated. Let us try to understand why it happens. The hot water, it will heat up the air that is present inside the bottle, because of which the air will expand and it will inflate the balloon. But in the second case, here, in case of the cold water, in case of bowl of cold water, the air inside the bottle, it gets cooled because the cool water, it will cool down the air inside the bottle, and because of which the air inside the bottle, it will contract and the balloon will deflate. So with the help of this activity, we have understood that air expands on heating and air contracts on cooling. Now here, heating and cooling of gases is over. Now we will study about physical and chemical changes. A change in which no new substance is formed. There is merely a change of the state. That means, and such change is called a physical change. That means in case of the physical changes, no new substance is formed, only the state of the substance changes. For example, melting of ice, freezing of water, etc. And the physical changes, they are reversible. What is the meaning of reversible? That means we can get back the original substance even after the change takes place. For example, ice changes to water on heating, but we can get back the ice by freezing water. That means if we keep the ice outside the refrigerator in a bowl, you will notice that after some time ice will melt and it will get converted into water. But if we keep the water into the refrigerator, the water will freeze and will get converted into the ice. So the ice, it changes to water on heating, but again the water can be converted into the ice by freezing the water. So this is a reversible change, and this is a physical change because here only the state of the substance has changed. Here we have not got any new substance. Next is the chemical change. Chemical change is a change in which a new substance is formed, and this kind of change is irreversible. Irreversible means we will not get back the original substance back once it has undergo a chemical change. For example, burning of a wax candle, burning of paper, and making curd from milk. For example, once we have burnt the paper, then we will get the ashes, and from the ashes we cannot get back the paper. So the chemical changes are the changes in which a new substance is formed, and we cannot get back the original substance back once the substance has undergo the chemical change. So this was all about the physical and chemical changes. Here the chapter is over. Thank you.